Hey son, greetings. This is Eric Basir, and I am going to share with you some behind the scenes of the creation of the artwork for the vignette for Badin and the Secret of the Saami called Traveler. If you purchase Traveler, you've read all about it. You've got the prologue and the epilogue and the glossary. And here I wanted to tell you a little bit about what went behind creating it using Clip Studio Paint, also known as Manga Studio. The layout is fairly average type of layout, and we went ahead with 7 panels on the first page, standard size. And I started with a little establishing scene with our star character, Ahmed ibn Fadlan, and I will turn off some of the layers and let you see what went on with the draft. All right. So I found some interesting images online of mountains and trails, and that helped give me an idea of what to do for how that scenery could look really interesting. And so it's called reference. So I use that, but it all began like this and this. No, actually it began like this. So this was my idea for that panel, and you see we have that little Dutch angle, we have some tents down there, and again, I wasn't quite sure exactly, but when I found something, I said, yeah, this is it. So then from that I roughed in the trees and a path, and then I roughed in the tents, and I did Ahmed. Now Ahmed was also based on a model, partially based on a model, and sometimes I have difficulty with things like foreshortening and angles, so I just drag in a Manga Studio model from the this section right here, the 3D models. So right here, body type, drag a male in there. And then you have some interesting poses that I could use, but I wasn't using any poses. And when I used this model, I had this little bone here, and you can adjust the chest and the neck and the head and the arms. I wanted to make him a little heroic looking, kind of built, but you can't tell because he's a Muslim of the 10th century, Arab traveler, and pretty much people in the 10th century, no matter what their culture, especially in where it was cold, they just covered themselves with layers of cloth. So yeah, move that there. So from again, I was able to build up this penciled in the character, as you see here. And then I went ahead and did the background, and the background is, as you could see, comprised of many layers. And I just kind of built them all one at a time, and got the path, the color ink. But first, I shouldn't have done that. I did the ink first. So let's do that. Here, turn that. And where are my trees? Oh, here they are. So I have my ink with the trees folder here. So anyways, you do so much of this, it just becomes kind of crazy when you after you're done with it, and then you're trying to explain what you did. But there you go. There's our trees again, based off of what I penciled in using Manga Studio. Of course, all this was completely digital. I do have a pen and paper, a pencil and paper layout that I did of thumbnails, and I based this off of that. So I do start on paper. Same with the script. The script was typed out. So color in the trees and get the background, get your path, and darken edges in there where the shadows are. Then I did some highlights because it's early in the morning. And then because of the sun coming up, you got to have shadows. So I put some shadows, extending. All right. And now I did our little tent, our camp. So here's the camp that he was sleeping in. I won't give any spoilers. I actually turned that off. Now on the next panel, here he is. He's throwing his little diary into the fire. Let's open it up. We have the text. You see, you don't need, when you have, when I do my layouts, I do everything like this. I have, I don't even, again, I have a rough layout, a thumbnail on paper, but the most important thing for me in the beginning is to get these to get the text down, and usually I have to edit it tremendously, and make sure, get a rough layout. I can move these things around later, make adjustments, but that's kind of how that's how it seemed to be working, and it seems to be working out well. So here's our draft. This is what I penciled in. And of course, I used another model, because I draft it out, and it just seems weird when I draw it out. And I said, well, let's see how the real anatomy works. Yeah, I don't have a whole lot of formal training in anatomy, so I got to get help, and this is what I do. And Manga Studio really helps. If I didn't have this, I would use a wooden mannequin, which I do have also. And some may think I'm not very good, and because of that, and it's fine with me. I'm trying to tell a story, and make it pretty. But the more important thing to me is to have a good story. The artwork is important, but what use is the artwork if the story's no good? So here's our protagonist, Ahmed. And again, I built everything in layers. So it all starts in ink. There's his hand. There's his head. Here's his clothing. And the hand was tricky because I didn't like it in the beginning, so I just did it as a separate layer so that just in case I could select the layers and make an adjustment, like that. So, and then the book. Just 2 layers, ink and color. This panel's, this next panel is, panel 3 is pretty much just like the other. I didn't use any models, I don't think. Let's see. No, I just penciled them out. So I can turn these off so that you see. See? So, and I had different, incarnations of it. So I think this one, let's go here. That's a first look. Oh, that was, you just got to pencil this stuff out sometimes because even the thumbnail layout isn't working. So you try again. And I like that better, the face kind of surrounded by flames with the book in the foreground. And there you go. And so, do your background and get your other items here. putting all these in, like so. There's our book. Flames are kind of fun to do because you got to do them in different sections.